We're going to record video all night long, and you guys are going to get this guy back, which is really cool. And I'm going to do, I put all of your data in one spot, so you guys don't have to go searching around for it. So, that being said, can everybody see me in that camera? I'm orange, yellow, and,
yep.
Right? So, that means I'm the warmest thing in the picture. Everything around me should be blue and black, especially with the temperatures we have tonight. If you take me out of the picture, it's going to fluctuate based on whatever's inside that screen. Did everybody kind of see that move? So with us walking around with this, it's going to move around a lot. So it's going to fluctuate. So the person who gets this, I will, like, and keep in mind, guys, this is a very quick, let's get this started. Our first location is haunted, but it's a better chance for me to give you a one-on-one with every one of your devices to kind of give you a little bit more tactics. So, I'm trying to think here. Hunter, I think I'm going to go with you on this one.
All right.
So you're going to hold that horizontal all night long. There's a battery pack on the back. And you see the red square?
Yeah.
So that means it's recording. If you hit it by accident, or you hit another button along the phone, because it is a normal Samsung phone, and shut it off, then we have to splice some video together. So please let me know. We'll start it back up. But if it turns to a circle, tap it again and let me know. That way I know I have 2 videos. Or
all right.
Don't give me 35, then everybody has to wait for their stuff, because that's a long,
all right.
That's a long deal. Evan, you have one of the most important jobs out of the whole group.
That's
Yeah,
not a good idea. That's really not a good idea.
All right. You need to speak up when this thing goes off. So this is an EMF meter. What is an EMF meter? It measures electromagnetic fields which the spirit world can manipulate. So with that being said, these are on your ghost hunting shows. This is the same one that they use. It measures 3 different types. The first one's natural, comes from the earth. That's why it's just green, it's not doing anything. The next one's going to come from our electronic or man-made devices. So cell phones, parking meters, buildings. It's going to make it go into a rhythm or a pulse. We don't want that either. When this thing goes crazy, you say, this thing's going crazy. It doesn't make any noise. It doesn't vibrate. You have to watch it. Can you handle that?
Just watching it out.
So, you gotta
So what you're saying is I have to watch it and not go away.
Not necessarily.
Just keep, you'll be able to.
Keep it in your eyes, in your eye vision,
I'm
your
trying
field
to
vision,
make
so
myself
that you
look
can
stupid.
see it if it moves.
You guys didn't let me make myself look stupid. So there you go.
Hannah, are you tech savvy?
Yeah.
Yeah? I figured since you're an online student. So you have to imagine, I chatted with these folks and kind of watching you guys to see who my chatterbox is, who's my tech savvy kid, who's the person that's going to remain quiet, where's my skeptic. Like, I'm characterizing all of you. So that way I know which device you guys get. So this particular spirit box, I ask why, is because it's got this weird attachment speaker to it, because it's an older model of an SB7. And as soon as I get the right buttons in the right spot, so what's a spirit box? A spirit box allows us to communicate with the dead. How does it do that? It sweeps through all of the FM radio stations at a very quick rate, and then we ask it questions, and hopefully we get some answers. Get to the right speed. Make sure we're good to go. Let's go volume. Let's go spins. Alright. So the spirit box, what is going on here? There we go. So obviously all you hear right now is static. But it's going to flip through the different radio stations at kind of a quicker rate. So what I'm looking for here is those radio DJs, the commercials, the song lyrics. I want that stuff to come through. So for example, if she has a red shirt on, right? Is it red?
Yeah.
So what color is my shirt? And we might hear Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We still have the color red in there. So this is set to a slower rate than, say, your television shows, and I want that on purpose. It's not just white noise. So with that, you have one button to worry about. There's a volume over here. You hold it down, and it'll go up. I have it on the opposite side as it should be. It's a weird button. You kind of have to hold it to get it to the speed. Now, obviously, when I say spirit box is up is when we want to turn them up. When I'm telling stories and things like that, we want to keep it down.
I'm glad I'm not going to give you these because I have no idea.
Well, maybe you and Mom can work together on this one. So, this is another spirit box, but the cool thing about this one, and there's a reason why I gave Hannah that specific one, is because it doesn't record anything. But she's probably going to be teamed up with brother, right? Twin brother. And that way we can get the audio from her spirit box onto the camera. So that's another reason why I did that. But this one is super cool because it records for us. So the nice thing about that is it doesn't record any outside noise, and it doesn't record, or it does record while it's on mute. So with that being said, you can, even when you have this thing down, it'll record the entire session for us. So even if you miss something, it's not a big deal. I'm going to listen to it again in the morning. So that way I can see if there's anything coming through. And you guys literally have one little button to worry about, much easier to use than theirs. So it is right here next to the button. It's a little wheel. It's just turn it up and turn it down.
Okay. Real often.
So again, when I say
just for
spirit boxes,
volume. Okay.
so when I say spirit box is up, and I'm going to teach you guys more about these devices as we move on. Okay, that needs. That looks like a responsible adult. Kinda, right?
Yeah. I'll admit it.
All right. This particular device, putting together the neuralizer from Men in Black. So none of you are going to remember anything.
Perfect.
But we'll have all the recordings, Nick. This, he's confused. You've never seen Men in Black?
No.
Dude, we got to hook up. We got to get you watching some Ghost Adventures, some aliens. This is a grid pen. Lasers. We cannot see the laser from the top of the bottom of the pen here to the ground. You can only see where it lands, correct? Until something passes through it. So what we're looking for here is a quick little blip. It's literally going to be very, very quick. So because this is a laser and we'll shoot all the way to East Bay Street, and lasers are almost illegal in Charleston, I need you to keep this thing pointed straight down and in specific areas only. Okay. So I'll definitely give you some guidance on that.
All right.
So this guy, Mom's like, what do I get?
Nothing.
This one gives us red squares. Why do I want red squares? Yeah, I turned the case to that.
Because you can use it as a grid with chalk.
Kind of. So if we capture something here, then if we get it on picture or on camera, then I can take that still image and put it in 3D software, and you guys have a full view of the apparition that we caught. Okay?
Ooh.
So you get over that, because I need to know what the lasers are at all times. That one has a toggle switch, the other one has a button you have to hold. So just be careful with the toggle switch, because people like to flash cars and stuff.
Yep.
You get me in a lot of trouble. So, Mom, last but not least, I don't give this tool to kids because they have no idea what the heck it is, and you're going to kind of be helping Dad with it. So, digital camera.
Bro, Dad has 3 things.
No.
No, Mom has one.
Well, Mom's going to be helping with the spirit box too. So, but
We're all
with what
teams.
Dad's doing, go ahead and flash one of those down for me. You're going to be taking pictures through it. Notice there's no flash.
Yeah.
I don't want to flash on this because I don't want any false positive off of windows or
So
anything
not
like that.
down on it. Just
Right,
through
we
it.
want to go through.
Okay.
So it has 2 buttons that you should be paying attention to, an on and off button, and obviously the shoot button. So the rule of thumb is nobody's faces can be in the picture. If they are and we actually capture something, I will edit it out so you guys can have it back, because that's obviously evidence that we want to keep. So last but not least, I'm going to be using a few things myself. So I can't just walk around with you guys, right? I got to be working. So the first thing I'm going to use is a spirit box that gives us words in the center of the screen. Let me mask it up so I can show you guys how this thing works. This is actually meant to be a game and a hoax. With that said, why do I use something that's meant to be a game or a hoax? It's going to give us a word from time to time and then save them to a list. My last group had 61 terms. We're going to clear them out, start you guys off fresh.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
If I just grab this and then went up to a parking meter and put this to the parking meter, would it just turn green or yellow?
It would go up. I'll show you how to test it. So, why do I use an app? So, 80% of the words that it's going to give us don't mean anything. It's the other 5 to 20% where I'm going to be able to give you verifiable links of why it's related to our story, the person I'm talking about, or one of us. We never know what's going to actually pop up. And I only give you verifiable words with a link to show you where I got my data from. So that way you can see, it's legit. But I will admit, I've had a slew of words come up and only one be relatable on the tour. I've had another one where it comes up to 20 to 50 words. Just, you never know. I can't make it up. So your first word is movie, just so you guys know, which means you need to watch more movies.
That's true.
It is true. The next one I'm going to use, guys, is a reverse spirit box. So the cool thing about this one is they say that it's FM radio stations being turned backwards as a communications measure. That's impossible. You can't take a live FM station and flip it backwards. It's literally just a man and a woman saying random words, and they flip the audio backwards. I flipped it forwards to find out what they were actually saying. It's just a loop of words. That's all it is. It sounds like complete garbage. So I'm going to turn this up so you guys get the gist of this guy. Kind of creepy, but when something actually comes out of this guy, it is clear as day. So when I can hear something, you'll hear it on the audio recording, and it's kind of like when we separate a little bit so we can use our tools in the area that we are. I'll say what I heard and say rewind by 5 seconds, because your audio recording is going to be an MP3, so that way you can just keep rewinding it and hear what I heard. I don't always review that part, so it's up to you guys to verify what I actually heard. It might not mean anything, but that's what I heard. So, let me get the other spirit box up and running. Everybody got the gist of what their tools do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, no? All right, cool. So, is this what everybody thought they were getting themselves into?
About. We didn't know.
Likely.
We just came to check it out.
All right, cool. Well, again, this isn't your typical tour. So, of course, we started a haunted location, guys. So, this place used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 Giants. Now, I'm not a football guy, I'm not a sports guy, so I had to look all this stuff up so I could tell you guys more stories. Now, John used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender, which the back of the bar is actually right through that window, because the building for them isn't very large. But we have a citadel nearby, so the cadets would come over and they would have a drink. Well, Big John knew most of them, or their parents, and if they weren't old enough to drink, he would tell the bartender to get them out. Well, one night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough, Big John tells them, get them out of here, they leave. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the bar. Big John sees what's going on, they get into a little rumble on the floor. It's not good. Somebody pulls out a gun and fires a few shots. Well, Big John, he gets hit in the neck and the bullet ricochets and lands in the wall. He gets up, goes back to the bar, tells the bartender, get me another drink and get the guy on the floor an ambulance. Now, the story I just told you, nobody died. You think this is a ghost story? What's haunting the place? The bullet hole that was still on the wall. People that sit in the front of this bar start to not feel well. Dizzy, headache, nauseous, those kind of things. I bring this story up on purpose. As a health hazard, not to scare you, but sometimes people can't make it through the tour. It's fine. We'll figure it out. If you're starting to feel any of those things, I need to know. It's a big deal. So, I won't tell you the things that have happened on my tour with that, but most of those people practice witchcraft in some way, shape, or form, or were a psychic medium that was just too much info for them. So, nobody here has confessed that they're a psychic or a medium. I think we'll all be safe. Now, let's get our minds off of our own health. Let's talk about another quick story before we move on. If you haven't taken a Charleston tour before, which all of you I think said you haven't, we had a big earthquake here in 1886, so over 120 some years ago. That earthquake, this is where the first death occurred from that earthquake. A piece of the mantle that's above your head broke off, struck somebody in the head, and his ghost is said to be seen right here in front of the bar on East Bay Street from the previous owner of this place. So that was pretty recent.
Then why isn't this going off?
Doesn't mean he's here all the time. And I don't have proof that that actually happened. I'm taking his word for it. So, some stories that I'll tell you tonight. Oh, I got the name William. We'll see what happens with that. That's pretty interesting. So normally when I get names around this place, it's usually a teammate from Big John. So I can prove that. Because if I get a jersey number later, then obviously I can prove it. You guys ready to go something?
Yeah.
You guys trying to figure out what's going on in the pockets there?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm not holding your head up.
We're going to go this way.
All right.
So it doesn't look like I'm having a baby.
Huh?
If you've never tried hot hands and gloves, it's the best thing in the world.
I've tried leaving my jacket on a heater.
Yeah, that probably works too.
It's very comfortable for like 5 minutes.
Well, these just stay warm. That's great.
But after those 5 minutes, you're just sad.
All right, everybody gather around this very interesting
Oh, it's going crazy.
Nice. So we are close to a building, so we're going to keep that in mind as we keep talking. So where the heck are we? This is what I call the big red barn lot. Okay, this is if you've never taken a carriage ride in Charleston. This is where we keep the horses for them. They are inside there, so Dad absolutely no lasers inside that barn. You will spook them. They will kick and then scare the heck out of all of us. So if you wanted a jump scare, it's right here. So the only history I have on this place, guys, is this is where we kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So we're talking 1880s to 1920s. That's my guess. And I just gave you a bunch of clues. He's fine. He's testing the waters.
Okay.
He's good. I don't expect the kids under 16 to really get into the history stuff, so I usually give them something to keep them occupied. So I was a Walmart manager of over 350 people for over 10 years. I know what I'm doing. So I know where my people are and what they're doing. But at the same token, guys, I'm giving you clues whenever I tell you stories like this, like with your spirit boxes. So let's talk about them for a second. If you've seen the ghost hunting shows or Ouija board or whatever, is somebody here? We don't ask yes or no questions on this story, okay? In real ghost hunting, you just don't do it. Why? Because if somebody says no, that means they're still here, so they're lying to you. If they said the word houses, you think you heard the word yes. S and O are two of the most common sounds in our English language, so we stay away from yes or no questions at all times. You can always reword it another way. We're going to start off with something simple that you guys actually know the answer to. We made an example out of your shirt, but what color is that barn? Red. There's no deviating away from the color red. It's not purple, green, or blue. What color is the barn? You're going to wait 30 seconds and listen for an answer from your spirit boxes. If you don't get an answer, ask the same question again. Give them time to muster up the answers for you. After maybe 3, maybe 4 tries tops, that person, if they're here, because Evan over here has a strong EMF reading, you know somebody's here, ask another question. What's inside the barn? You just opened up a whole new world. Delivery, milk, horse, draft, because they're draft horses, people, carriage, all kinds of words can come out of that. This is about putting clues together to make sure like we actually have legitimate evidence coming through. So, spirit boxes, you can, well actually, you're probably going to hang out with him, and I want to work with him first. Lasers, again, you want to keep those things straight down. Don't crush your streams. Bad Ghostbuster joke that you probably don't know, but it works here. Don't crush your streams because you'll get dizzy staring at the green and red. But again, take as many pictures as you want. People get a little funny about pictures and cameras on their cars. So when people start to come through their cars, because the next place we're going to is another lot, I know, very exciting, but it is haunted. That is my grand finale. I love that place. But just be careful.
Oh,
People get a little...
it's going crazy.
It changed, didn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so
And it's occasionally on red.
I lost your name already.
Olivia.
Olivia. Olivia, you're probably going to be following wherever his EMF starts to go crazy. So if actually the 4 of you kind of want to wander off, I want to work with his camera one-on-one, and that way you guys can hear what I'm telling him when you watch the video.
Okay.
So that way you guys can kind of get started. Ask some good questions.
Guys, if
All
you
right,
think it's
so
hard, just call
with
me
yours. Call you O?
Yeah.
I like Olivia, though. It's a pretty name. So do me a favor and point your camera at the wall.
All right.
Like stand right in front of it and tell me what you see.
Kind of see a
What color?
gradient. It's mostly red.
Mostly red. So what happens when I get in the picture?
Wall goes greenish blue. You go red.
Right. So now I'm the warmest thing in the picture, right?
Mhm.
So you want a baseline. You want to have something at all times. Oh, look at that. It says deplete. So we need to watch our batteries. It's weird. I always try to connect something to whatever it says.
Mhm.
But with that being said, there is a video that I have where there's always a person in view, and I caught 2 black apparitions moving. You're looking for blue or black pieces to move.
Okay.
So our skin is obviously going to be the warmest thing out here tonight. If something blue or black goes across it intelligently, we obviously have something going on. So it's that blue and black that are going to be cold. Yellow and white are your warmest things. So that's going to be, I actually should have some white and yellow around me now. Only because there's that much of a temperature difference between me and this cold wall behind me. So it's going to be, I think that's a 15, 18 degree difference, if I'm not mistaken, my spectrum. But you always want to keep, got another name, Zachary. I love when I get names here, because then I can verify the teammates. I don't know them all by heart, because I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, what's the R for? It's bugging me.
Oh, I go to a school called Rose Holman.
Okay.
And it's
Oh, I should have put that together.
It's
Duh.
his.
yeah, it's my school.
So you're wearing his clothes?
I'm wearing my dad's clothes because I didn't bring enough sweatshirts.
Yeah, you need some sweaties, some hoodies down here. All right, so with that, it's the technology of the camera isn't up to speed, say, of an iPhone or Samsung's today, but it's the technology of the thermal imaging. So it's almost like you want to go slow with it. There's going to be, after our next location, we're going to walk like 4 blocks. Obviously, keep up with us. Don't slow down and just keep it. Because we're infant. We don't like when babies are involved. That's actually kind of related to our next location that I stay away from. Part of that story on purpose.
Wow.
So it's going to be an interesting night, I think. And I haven't been out in over a week because of the weather. It's been killing me. It's like, ah. But anyway, altar. Did you have to change that hoodie somehow?
Yeah. I changed clothes about 4 times before I came here.
I don't know how you would alter it though.
I don't either.
I don't know either. All right, sorry, stretching. Just trying to put 2 and 2 together here. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys kind of wander, stay within the confines of the lot. Turn up your spirit box. Did you figure out the volume buttons?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a little.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tried like 5 different speakers on there. You either can't hear them, they're too hard to operate, they don't attach to the machine. That machine has had, like I said, at least 5 different types of speakers attached to it before. But that's probably the most compacted way I can do it. So the cool thing is if you're asking questions, you're going to get them here. You're listening for those DJs and the song lyrics. It's okay. Those are the kinds of things I want. I have it slowed down that way on purpose. So go ahead and warm up, make a few laps, see what you see on the camera.
All right.
You're going to learn how it changes with asphalt and the metal of the barn, the foliage, like those kind of things. You're going to see how it moves. So just get used to it, and we won't spend a ton of time here.
All right.
We got to get the stories.
All right. Ask a question.
What should I ask?
All right.
What's inside the barn?
You can be in the picture. This
I
is
don't
fair.
want to be in the picture. What's inside the barn?
Does that anything out of your spirit box yet?
I heard dog.
Okay.
I asked what was inside the barn. I heard dog and puppy.
Dog and puppy?
I heard both.
She thinks she heard food. If somebody's hanging out with us, tell us what's inside that barn. Can you tell us what's inside the barn? What type of animals? I thought I heard wild something.
What do you mean? With my phone.
Huh.
Spooky.
Sleep.
All good.
50.
What's your name?
She was in there yesterday. I was like, "Mom."
Well, they rotate them out. So I think they only keep like a dozen or 15 in there at a time. And then they rotate them out.
You like horses?
They're pretty cool.
I ride.
them.
You ride? Oh my gosh, you ride? Yeah.
If someone stopped taking me to practices. I don't know who exactly
Got into sport. Yeah, I used to have a horse.
She's been to a few lessons.
This is where they think they're the parents that
fun
they
though.
talked about earlier. It's good life. My girls are 20 and 16.
I was gonna.
It's on the street.
There's over there.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Well, a parking meter has like flashing. Oh, and it's like a map right here. No, it's a map.
Look at this beautiful site that I bring y'all to. So, I hate to admit it because we're on recording, but I had a tour a few weeks ago where a woman thought I was literally going to be taking her through cemeteries all night long. Charleston's one big cemetery, just so you guys know. There's enough death here. And most of my investigations are not in cemeteries because if you were dead, are you going to hang out where you're buried? Probably not. You're going to go to the places that you love. So, notice Evan's EMF is dead right now. Once I start bringing up this story, it'll probably start going crazy. My hands are free. I'm not pushing any buttons. I've had that accusation before. But at any rate, welcome to the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion site. This is where their mansion was. So it's obviously stood in the front and faced East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was right back here, lined up with that left tree and moved all the way to the edge of the street. And back where I'm standing is where the slave and servant quarters would have been for the house. So, what's so important about them? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. Pretty big deal for us here in Charleston. I don't like politics. We just got through an election. Let's talk about Eliza. She's way cooler. So Eliza actually married Charles at a very young age. Let me back up. This is the only entrance and exit for this place. So, but anyway, she married Charles at a very young age.
Oh, whoa, it's
That's good. Look for a pattern and see if it stops.
sorry I interrupted.
Eliza, that's not the same Eliza.
Oh, okay.
I get that question a lot, can you tell?
Oh yeah, I think I see
So,
that.
Eliza's dad was dying over in England, and he wanted all of his kids home, and she didn't want to go. So, she got married to Charles and stayed here.
Right
Now, it
next
didn't
to
grant her citizenship, but it pretty much said that she wasn't going to. So, Dad got better, obviously, and he started sending her gifts over from England. She was a Boston, and one of the gifts that he sent over was the plant indigo. Indigo is pretty important for Charleston. Why? Because our rice plantations were going downhill. We needed another cash crop to save us. Now, the interesting thing about indigo is it was already here, and our slaves that we have are part of the Gullah culture, and that's what they were used to doing, was cultivating this indigo plant in our weird temperatures that we have here. So she made it a huge cash crop by selling it overseas and using Dad's contacts. We're talking about a businesswoman in colonial times, something that never happened. No such thing as a businesswoman. So pretty big deal with Eliza here. Nobody ever talks about this place. They're gonna put a hotel here and not do an archaeological dig to get all the artifacts out. It's never been dug up. But I'm gonna give you a few weird facts about Eliza for your spirit boxes. She was the second wife named Eliza. from Charles. They both go by their maiden name. They both start with L. That's all I'm going to tell you. I don't give you suggestive thoughts like what color is the barn. This place is a little different. Hopefully, you're going to get the answers to these questions from your spirit boxes. So that's the weird thing, the first thing about Eliza. You can ask anything you want to about her death. How old she was, what did she die from, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So that's pretty important if that tells you how important she was, especially for all those 13 colonies that needed to be saved. You can ask about her kids, but just stick to how many kids she had and the daughter. You start asking about the sons, Charles being one of them. There was a tragedy among those sons, and if we poke the wrong button, all activity seems to stop. So I want to stay away from the sons. You can ask the daughter's name, what did they do together, those kind of things, like whatever you want to ask about the daughter. You can ask what happened to the mansion. That's usually a pretty prominent answer we get at least once a week through the spirit boxes. So hopefully you guys find out which president was her pallbearer and all kinds of things. With your cameras, obviously be careful of the cars again. This is the only way in and out. We finally opened up our homeless shelter here in Charleston, so we don't have that problem here anymore. I used to have to steer people away from certain corners. But you're going to get a nice thermal read. And I have different thermometers to debunk or prove what he's actually catching on the camera. I just didn't hand them out tonight because I wanted to give Hannah the spirit box. So that way she had an extra thing. So if we have to use the thermometers, we will. Obviously, I do catch a lot of things here. So caught strong EVPs here where she's telling me what she used to cook her kids for breakfast. There's an English dish, baked beans breakfast. I have that very strong. I did catch some dead people up in that corner. So that was the video I was telling you about with the thermal imaging. And we get answers galore out of your spirit boxes. This is another place you're going to explore on your own. I'll follow up with you guys periodically. But I'm going to be using my spirit boxes to kind of give you guys some extra evidence to hopefully go through. So with that being said, look at his EMF now. That thing's going crazy.
Turn your spirit box up for me.
Yeah, get those spirit boxes running, make a tour, make a lap, and kind of try to stay close to her spirit box so we can capture the audio on both ends.
All right.
How did you die? This is broken glass. Watch out.
Yeah.
That's the dial, right?
Ask about the president.
Hold on. What was that?
I didn't quite catch it.
Which U.S. president was the pallbearer at your funeral?
Walk over here.
Which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Videotape something else.
Huh?
Videotape something else, but not the cars.
say his name. Now remember, the husband's name was Charles, but the son's name was also Charles.
Okay.
So we're gonna take it. That's good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that gets me excited.
Yeah.
All right, Eliza, thank you for that. Can you tell me what position?
What'd you ask her?
Just tell me how she died.
What was that?
It was just on there. Eliza, please tell me how you died.
Eligible.
Eligible?
Let's go back this way.
You want to see that video real quick I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Or did you catch something you were coming over to me for?
Not quite. I was just, wandering around, but I'd love to see that video.
Sorry, I do a lot of social media posts.
It's okay.
I make a lot of videos. So, this is the wall right behind you.
Alright.
This guy here is always in view. There's two living people right there.
Yep.
And then you're going to see two dead people here in a second. So you're getting a lot of them. They're going to be right up here. 1, 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of the shit that you're looking for.
Alright.
The other thing that I caught here, let me pause this. And I normally show this off. I don't know why I didn't tonight. So, let's go back to my videos. This, I didn't ask anything actually, it just kind of popped up. This is a reverse spirit box, so you're going to hear an EVP and then me repeat it.
Breakfast. 5 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened there was I got baked beans breakfast live. The red spirit box said, "I'll fix you," and the word list gave me the word tea. I'll fix you, baked beans, breakfast, and tea. That's a breakfast in the UK.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's why you hear my voice go like, "What the hell's baked beans breakfast?" Let me show that to them real quick.
Alright.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Let's go back over here.
Okay.
Eliza, if you're there, can you tell us which U.S. president was the pallbearer at your wedding?
Funeral.
Funeral? My bad.
Sorry,
I'm sorry,
Eliza.
Eliza. Eliza, can you tell me your last name?
Don't.
I didn't quite catch it.
Eliza, can you please tell me your last name?
That sounded similar.
It did. Eliza, if that was you, can we hear it one more time? It's similar, listen to pain.
I can't quite catch it.
Thank you for that, Eliza. Eliza, can you please tell me your daughter's name? Thank you. Okay.
Let's go this way.
Anything else you want to ask her?
Eliza, what did you turn into a cash crop?
Did you hear that?
I think I heard indigo.
Thank you, Eliza.
Thank you, Eliza.
That was crazy.
That was, yeah, I got chills.
Alright guys, anything weird?
Yeah, he just asked what she turned into a cash crop, and we heard indigo.
You heard indigo directly?
Yeah, it was like
I mean, it was-
indigo, kind of like that, kind of like split up,
Nice.
but like
It
on
was
beat.
cool.
Very cool. So definitely we'll have to get that marker on that audio. That's why I put you guys together. Did you
Alright.
hear it too? Or
Oh yeah, we
okay.
both heard it.
Nice. And I just got the phrase under book, and I have no idea what that means. I've never seen that phrase come up on a single thing. This app is so weird. So I upgraded it. The free version comes with 3,000 words.
Yeah.
I wanted more and get rid of the ads. Mine has over 9,000 words.
Okay.
So when it comes up with a new phrase, I'm like, I've never seen that before. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna spend about another 5 minutes here now that everybody's kind of knowing what they're looking for.
Okay.
And see what we capture. Keep listening. That was good.
All right. Thank you. Ask her something.
I don't know what to ask. I'm bad at this.
You want to try president again?
Huh?
You want to try president again?
Yeah. Eliza, can you please tell me the U.S. President pallbearer at your funeral? Lincoln. Did you hear that?
I did. Which is definitely a U.S. president.
Yeah, it definitely is. Thank you, Eliza. That was crazy. It'd be cool if it was right.
Yeah.
Did you just hear it is right?
Yeah, I did. That's weird.
Don't. That was crazy. Thank you, Eliza.
Thank you, Eliza.
Eliza, can you tell me one of your daughter's names? Eliza, can you please?
What's up?
I don't know. Eliza, can you please tell me one of your daughter's names?
We're dropping.
Baked.
Baked beans breakfast.
Baked beans breakfast.
Look at, here comes the car.
I think there's a ghost on the truck.
Alright. So let's start with what you guys heard. That was pretty cool stuff.
We heard another cool thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's right, but we
Yeah.
asked for the president,
Yeah.
and we heard Lincoln.
Very
Yeah.
clearly.
But
It
I
was Yeah.
It was weird.
I did give you a clue of what time period it was. Colonial times. Lincoln
yeah.
was Civil War times.
Yeah.
You're right.
So-
I didn't listen.
Did you guys go ahead with the other cool thing you heard?
We asked what she turned into a cash crop, and we very clearly heard indigo.
Now, mind you, the word indigo can show up on the radio because we have indigo streets, we have indigo hotels, indigo inn. So it's not uncommon for that word to come through. But again, I'm taking that as a direct answer, and hopefully I can find the marker on the thermal imaging camera, and I'll give you guys that marker. So, because I want to hear that one myself. Now, I told you guys about Charles and my son. So I talked to him directly, and I said, "Tell me what position you had when you were here," and I pretty much heard governor. So like governor. So I believe he was a governor. Do I know everything about the Pinckneys? I don't. I'll have to Google it. So when I find that link, hopefully I'm right. Governor's there. I asked for one of the names of the brothers just to kind of poke around. So if you guys heard any weird names, hopefully something came up on your spirit box. Also keep in mind, when I'm doing these investigations, the answers can go anywhere. So because I'm asking questions doesn't mean it's going to come to my spirit boxes. I'm using two. They could go to his thermal imaging audio, my audio, or your spirit box. So a lot of times you'll hear questions when you're listening to your audio. Like my first question is Eliza, how many people did I bring with me? So if you turn around and said, I heard the number 6, we have a direct answer. And we're 100 yards apart, 50 yards apart, whatever. You didn't know I asked that question. So if we hear the number 6 come up on something, usually when I bring up Eliza's name, that thing goes nuts. I'm still trying to figure out this underbook thing, so I'll figure that out. The answers to the questions, did you guys hear anything? I'm sorry.
No, not that really stood out to me.
I do want to see the shadow person that you saw though, so I definitely want to blow that up. And you'll see when I give you your photos back where I lighten them up in dark areas like this. So I'll give you all the photos as I lightened it up because it only does it so many times. So I'll keep giving you lighter pictures of the same picture. So Eliza died at the age of 70. So from breast cancer that we know of, we're talking colonial times. So that's almost like a guesstimate of what she died from. That was in Philadelphia, and that's also where she's buried. So again, cemetery, are you going to hang out where you're buried? Probably not. She comes down here all the time. It's a big drive for her, right? So the president was George Washington, and that was something I learned from the tour because I got the name George and Washington several times in 1 week. It was almost like she's telling me, you got to look this up, Nick. I know what you're doing when you go home. I looked it up. Lo and behold, George Washington was a pallbearer at her funeral. And George Washington passed through Charleston quite a few times and was friends with the Pinckneys. So I remember all of the men were political leaders of some sort.
So maybe it was like when Lincoln was like a child.
Maybe.
He was a baby. Baby Lincoln. He was probably still 6 feet tall. So the mansion, it caught fire during the Great Fire of 1861. So again, Civil War times, long after Eliza and Charles's death, but it was still in the Pinckney family. So I do get the word fire, flaming, candle, burning, any of those kind of things that'll tell you about a fire. I usually will go up to that corner first thing if nobody else with the spirit box has, because that's where the fire occurred. And the Great Fire of 1861 took out quite a bit of Charleston. It wasn't just here. It was just part of one of our many, many fires. And we have dozens of them in our history books. So from here, we're going to go up to Lodge Alley, another haunted location. Your spirit boxes, I want you guys to be listening for names. I'm not going to tell you why or which names. We're going to be brief in Lodge Alley because it is a quiet area of Charleston. But I got to show you guys some cobblestone streets of some sort, right? So your EMF is going to go crazy the whole way there. You can pretty much ignore it. The parking meters are going to make that thing go nuts. Why? Because the lines are underneath the sidewalk. They're strong enough to make it go crazy. Take pictures if you want to along the way. Absolutely no lasers, Dad. And keep filming. Again,
right.
Just keep up with us. It's definitely a mask up area. You guys are already there. I'm already winded. I haven't carried my heavy bag in over a week. You guys are giving me a workout. So, you guys having fun?
Yeah.
Evan, are you having fun? You're like my most important person on this tour to make sure you're having a good time.
Yes, I'm the main character. Pog.
He's the main character. I love it.
I'm the main character. What?
Watch your step. There's another one right here. Don't trip on that one. I forget to say that and somebody trips on that. We don't make ghosts here. We find them. down this way.
You would assume it would be easy because you won't have to worry about the sad kids. You just have that.
Raw market.
You just have that 2 right there.
I'm working on a panel that has like 10 characters in it that are all
I'm working on I'm writing a small little piece right now as well. I'm really focused on that. Short story. And I have an idea that I
Gonna go crazy cycle up here. Yeah.
start from the end and then
Yep.
how you want it to end.
Why did it happen? How did it compare? What did it happen? And you can write your story. Kind of map it out.
That's where it's all from.
So, speaking of puzzles, are you guys aware that there's a treasure hunt called The Secret, and Charleston is part of it? So there's a book written in 1982 called The Secret, and there was 12 little boxes buried with a key in them. And you give the key to the author's living wife, and she will give you the jewel that matches up with that painting. That's neat. So, obviously, I'm part of that. Because puzzle solving is my thing. And getting permission to dig in Charleston is probably one of the hardest feats out of any treasure that's out there. I've already dug once.
Nice.
Now they're allowing me to put a GPR to the ground, which will give me readouts of the.
So I was going to ask how you know where to dig.
Well, there's a version of painting. Together, you should be able to solve it to figure out an exact point.
I got you.
But we have so much flooding here that our grounds move. So I have some friends that used to work at a funeral home, and they would have to excavate certain tasks for whatever reason, and they're always 10 to 20 feet away because from the actual headstone, because our grounds move so much. All the flooding and the water coming in. Crazy.
That is cool.
So
I think I watched a show on Netflix that kind of was the Outer Banks. And it was kind of based around the
The Outer Banks.
Oh, that show's so good.
short stuff that was painting
this puzzle.
it's probably not, but a drama. So,
Expedition unknown. Like, a big part of it. We're gonna make it right now. Who's got the camera now?
she does. Camera left.
So get some pictures of this place nice and still before we all walk down it. I say nice and still because there's no flash. So with that, if you're not still, it'll be blurry.
3 pictures.
She likes photography.
Someone's just gonna look out these windows and just see like 7 people just running down an alleyway and be like, what the heck?
You know what I'm doing.
I think we walked down this alley.
Did you?
I think it's the light up. We were wandering around there. It looks familiar.
Oh yeah, it's going to get crazy.
Oh yeah. They probably brought you down.
It's just staying at yellow. It's literally just staying at yellow. It's not flickering. It's just staying at
It's
yellow.
weird. It's like been.
Huh.
It's just staying. Oh no. Okay. Now
Going crazy?
no, it's still not that crazy.
What's crazy about it is it's not. It wasn't moving. It was just like been on.
It was just yellow.
Did I hear a Five Nights at Freddy's scream?
So we're going to be pretty brief here. I just like to kind of give you what this place is. And hopefully, like, since the other spirit box is recording already, did you hear any names along the way?
I didn't.
Okay, I didn't get any names on mine either. The reason why I ask for names is because this used to be a street of Charleston. You're now inside the original Charlestown walls, which means this is one of the oldest streets that we have. Now, picture Charleston, the peninsula. all the outside stuff that we have now is all extra. All that stuff wasn't there. So the smell of low tide would come through here really bad. If you haven't experienced low tide yet, it could be nasty. It's really bad. So if that smell's coming through here, are rich people going to live here? Probably not. These people are considered lower class. They did do an archaeological dig on these clay bricks that you guys were walking on. They found some of their clothing and tools and silverware. They were able to consider these people lower class. They even found out that there were some fires down here that weren't documented. Huh. So these two buildings on the side of us, they weren't here, but that place is Lodge Alley Inn. It is obviously named after the alley. They claim to have a ghost as well, as does every hotel in downtown Charleston. They don't give me free rooms to verify, so I'm not condoning any of them. Hopefully there'll be podcast episodes this summer as they start to, I'll have to pay hopefully only half price to start staying in these haunted rooms. But I usually get the names Benjamin and John down here. The cool thing about that and them two names together is there was only 4 people that lived here in 1801. 2 of them were Ben and John. So, and I get those names down here probably about once a month. So I do get weird things with kids on the spirit boxes too. Like I'll hear kids laughing, or my children, or something along those lines. I don't really have a relation to that other than there were families that lived down here. They were shotgun houses, which means they were super small, maybe 1 to 2 rooms in the whole house. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's the only thing I can really put together with this place. There's one like 72-page report that I have to dig through when something new pops up. So again, that's the only artifact that we have from this place that actually tells what happened here. So when we walk through the rest of this place, I don't know why this car is parked here, but we're going to try to do our best to stay away from it. It's not supposed to be parked here, but we are going to. These are going to be houses as we walk through, so no lasers, no loud spirit boxes. We're going to try to keep our voices at a very low level, and I will not be doing tour guiding things because I'm not allowed to. So we're going to be 7 friends ghost hunting and cutting through a neighborhood quietly until we get to another main street. So hopefully our spirit box that you're holding is picking up lots of stuff, and we'll see what we can capture along the way. So keep filming.
These are cat
I just want to know.
Let me stay with me.
Cold as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's not bad.
I was talking to my sister yesterday. So I'm enjoying that snow. When's the last time you even seen snow? It's been a while.
Yeah.
Slow down, buddy. Evan. Get right there. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the storm because it's obviously affecting us down here.
Yeah.
Of course, it's all business at that point. Let's wait for Mom and Dad back there. Sorry, told you guys I had lots of energy to keep warm. Sorry, I can get a little quick. And I keep forgetting you have a cast on because you've been great through this whole thing. Alright, you good? Oh, she's getting pictures. Cool. My garage is like behind the Scotchman right there. So like we're gonna be wrapped up here in like 30 minutes and I can just go right back. So if you guys have never been through this alley, this is Philadelphia Alley. This is the prettiest spot in all of Charleston. I used to take my tours there, but we have new neighbors. They don't like tours coming through. So daytime, nighttime, this is a great picture spot. Great storytelling. You like jewels? Look up Philadelphia Alley. Here's nothing. Sorry, I got right in the way, didn't I? Alright, so the reason why I bring you guys up here, this is the touristy area. So we're not in the, I'm giving you some sights to see. The reason why I stopped here, obviously it's a cemetery, but we have a sign here that says there's no ghost at St. Philip's but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. So we had there was a young lady that died 10 days after her stillborn child. So it was obviously a very sad time. That was 1888. So 1987, we have photographers in town and he's taking pictures of our cemeteries. He captures a full apparition of a woman wearing a shawl and a baby basket next to her. He sends it to Kodak because there's no Photoshop, there's no cell phones, we can't debunk things with the technology yet. Kodak was unable to debunk the picture. I don't show the picture because it's cursed. Females that hold it start to not feel well, kind of the same symptoms I told you back at Big John's. So again, I'm not showing you the picture. If you take another ghost tour, oh, I got the word famous. You can look it up. Her name was Sue Howard Hardy. Just don't hold the picture. Look at it on a computer screen, a TV screen, whatever. But you type in Sue Howard Hardy. Now you know what the name is. It's on your audio. Feel free to look it up on your own time. So there's a lot of stories that tie into St. Philip's. So granted, take a few pictures. Dad, you can shoot some lasers in here and kind of see what comes up out of it. Just try not to go too high because there is a building back there and I never know if there's people in there. But definitely shoot your lasers in there and let's get some pictures and let's see what we can capture. Your spirit box yours is recording. Have you been listening to yours or just kind of hanging on to it?
I heard Hardy.
You heard Hardy? When?
I think so. Before you said her name.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I heard it.
That's pretty cool. So we'll have to see if it picked up on the regular audio. I got the word itself. Now, if I call her Susan, I usually get the name Sue because when I first started these tours, I was calling her Susan. And I kept getting Sue. I'm like, look, she's telling. I was like, oh, damn it, her name is Sue Howard Hardy, not Susan. She keeps correcting me. So again, I'm gonna let you guys get close to the gates. This is St. Philip's. If you never know where you're at in Charleston, look for the steeple. It's the tallest one we have. You'll always know where you are from that steeple.
Is she supposed to take the pictures of him shining the light through there?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, okay.
Let's see what we can capture. Let's try some different experiments there. And again, you can shoot those lasers out a little bit. Just try not to go into the building. Try to keep them nice and still. The tip of that turns, Dad, so you can actually get more dots. Yep. So a lot of times when you're taking pictures, if I look at them on the camera after the tours, it'll show me like face detections, which is really cool because it could be in a dark spot and I know to look at that specific picture to see what's detecting as a face.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll get what looks like two eyes somewhere. And there's a zoom on that too, Olivia, if you want to get zoom. The button at the top right, it has like two sides to it. If you hit the right side, it actually zooms in. And then it zoom out as often as you want. So a lot of the pictures, like when I get them here, I use them for advertising too. So like I'll make videos out of them, or do something crazy. Like I'll throw a mean ghost flying through, and so take some good pictures while I'm here. I'm working.
I saw something.
Where? Yes, we need to help
promote
him.
It was when she was standing right here. There was something behind her. It was just a round black
We need to help
shape.
promote.
No, I don't see it.
Did you bring something with you?
No, I hope not.
It happens.
You're facing this way, and you're about a little bit more. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it.
Okay. Well, that's good. If you can't reenact it, that means I got to watch the video closer. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't find it on this.
I get a lot of pictures like where people took themselves, and I get weird orbs that way too. All right, we're actually going to head over to the last lot, but there's like 4 major things going on over here. Let's make sure we get some more pictures.
You guys ready?
You guys are all North Face people, huh? I love that damn stuff.
I got 50% off for a nurse's discount this year, so I kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah, she got like half off to go to like the North Face store in Michigan.
Stop it.
She was just like, yes.
So we got a hand-me-down coat. Mom got me one. Yeah, not good.
Sorry, thank you.
Oh, you're good. Thank you.
Of course.
Alright, so there's a lot going on here that I didn't show you guys, but I do like to point that out, and there's no other tours tonight, so you actually got more time than most of my tours. I just get out of everybody else's way because they don't like me. I take their tours. But anyway, so the building that we passed up over there, see that brick building with like the side porch of the white thing over there? That used to be called Bocce's Restaurant. That place is haunted. The doors don't stay locked in there, and Bocce's left because it's too haunted. So doors not staying locked means money was missing. There's apartments upstairs where mirrors fall off the bathroom wall but don't break. So there's all kinds of things that happen. If Nick, myself, were to start a Stories in a Cemetery store, which will be probably available in 5 years, that will be my building. I'll rent out the upstairs as a haunted hotel for $500 a night, and then the shop down below will sell books on the paranormal and obviously ghost hunting equipment. So that is the goal for Stories in a Cemetery. That's where we're headed. It's either going to be that place or Big John's, because I want an apartment. I just don't want hotel rooms. I want to be able to rent it out to like college kids, so that way they can afford it. They'll just split it among 10 people. But they'll get all the equipment too, and I'll show them how to use it. It'll be fun. But anyway, so did you guys notice that there was 2 sides to the cemetery?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys know the reason? No.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a weird thing about Charleston. So it's a Charleston thing. So the native Charlestonians are buried on the side where we just were. Everybody else comes over here. Now John Calhoun, one of our vice presidents, is on this side. His sarcophagus, meaning a big giant tomb above ground, was moved several times because they didn't know if he was from here or not. So Eliza's husband, Charles Pinckney, he's buried over there. So he's a native. He's a Pinckney. So right past this is what we call the Pirate House. There's a house with a big anchor on the front, and yes, somebody lives there, residential, which means I can't take you there, unfortunately. But there's some cool stories that happen with the Pirate House. That's where Blackbeard's men would come off the ship, go have a few drinks, have a place to sleep, meet up with a few girls. So I'll be very, very rated G tonight. So they also dug a tunnel from the Pirate House 1 block away over to Dock Street Theater. Dock Street Theater used to be a hotel. So it was originally Dock Street Theater, because this used to be Dock Street. Then we turned it into a hotel, and then we turned it back into Dock Street that we know now. So keep that in mind with the next story. But anyway, we filled in that tunnel from the pirates. There was a legend that Blackbeard buried his treasure there. It's a lie, because we all know it's in North Carolina. But we filled it in the 1990s, so there's verifiable proof that the tunnel was there from pirates. Dock Street Theater, again, was a hotel. There was a young lady that worked here at the church. Her name was Nettie Dickerson. She seen what was going on at Planters, and she was over the age of being married. She was 23. Nobody wanted her. Marrying age then was 17. So imagine that, right? You got ladies today not getting married till their 30s. But anyway, so she went down there to become a girl of the night. Again, rated G. And she saw what was going on, and she just wanted to feel wanted. So she went down there, became the best loved girl in the place, still wasn't happy, used to go out to the top balcony and look back at the church about coming back to work here instead of working at the hotel. The priest sees this, he goes down to talk to her. Storm rolls in, lightning strikes, she's leaned on a wrought iron banister, she dies. Now, her ghost, you can see her from the knees up only. I know, the dying part isn't very exciting. So, it's the ghost of her. You can only see her from the knees up. It took a nerd like me to figure out why. When we went from Planters Hotel back to Dock Street Theater that we have, we raised the first floor ceiling. She's walking on the floor that she knows. So, some poor schmuck said, why do I have a short ghost and I can't see the bottom of her dress? Like, there's no reason for that. So, again, pretty cool story. So if you walk through Dock Street Theater, you can actually you can take a daytime tour. And there's apps. Yes, sir.
The rating has been changed to PG due to death.
Not really. Simba died. It's rated G. Haha! I win 1-0. I take him home. He's in good humor. Oh, I got the word frigid. That's interesting. Frigid. Maybe Nettie was frigid. But anyway, it's an interesting place to see, and I believe it's haunted from some of the wood that's in there because it came from a mansion back in some neighborhoods by where we started. And I believe wood, when it's transferred, holds some spirit activity. So again, I don't get much EMF when I walk through there. I need to walk through with some of the newer equipment that I have with the new spirit boxes and the thermal to see what happens. But the place is absolutely gorgeous. Take the daytime tour. It's free. Just walk through and check it out. And no, I'm not an affiliate with that. One last story. So this building over here, and we're going to investigate this building. I'm learning more about this. I had to change my tour. Remember the alley I told you guys it was the most beautiful place? I used to take you guys through there. But again, I'm learning about this, and I'm not a pirates person at all. Like, I'm not a big Pirates of the Caribbean type guy. I have read so much about this woman, Anne Bonny. She was a female pirate, and apparently she's attached to this building. I don't know why. Even after all the books, articles, and websites and YouTube videos I've watched on this woman, I cannot find the tie to this other than the fact that this building was finished in the same time period that she left Charlestown. So she came over here from Ireland. She's an Irish girl. She's an illegitimate child, which means she was born out of wedlock. Okay, so with that being said, the father moved her and the mother over here to Charlestown from Ireland, and she started a new life. She fell in love with a pirate passing through town, and then when she's out on a ship with him, she falls in love with another pirate. His name was Calico Jack. John Rackham, I believe, was his real name. So Calico Jack had a ship, and she wanted to be part of that one instead, so she had to dress up like a guy. So that was the only way you could get on a pirate ship. She found another person doing the exact same thing. The crew wasn't very big, but there was another woman dressed up like a man to be part of the crew. Her name was Mary Reed. Now, the ship that they were a part of got taken. They were attacked, and Anne Bonny and Mary Reed were the only two that were sober enough to fight back, and yet all the other pirates on the ship were tried and hung for piracy. Anne and Mary claimed that they were pregnant. So their trial said that they were guilty, but their hanging was going to be, delayed because of the pregnancies. Now, I just told you that, Anne Bonny's father was from Ireland, but he was a big political person. He had a lot of power. So he was able to bail her out. And this was in Jamaica. So with that being said, Mary Reed gets stuck in jail and she dies there. Now Anne Bonny lives a nice full life, remarries again, and has, I think, 4 children that they claim, and lived to be 84 years old. As we walk through this place, now the Powder Magazine is the oldest government building on the East Coast. It was finished in 1713. This was the same time period that Anne Bonny was leaving. So this would have been 1715, 1716 when she left, because her trial was in 1720 for piracy. So that's the only way I can tie her to this building so far, other than I'm getting more and more EVPs, I'm getting weird anomalies with the EMF, because you're not going to find much. So if you find something, it's exciting. We want to kind of hang out and turn up those spirit boxes to see what we get. This is the side of the building. Now the Powder Magazine, this is the very edge of the Charlestown walls. It came right up Cumberland Street and went right around the corner. It's this far away because if it ever got attacked, it's got sand in the roof to keep the blast down. The walls are also 32 inches thick. This is a very big building for us. Not in size, but in historical sense. So it served in 7 different wars, but was never attacked. No deaths occurred here. Don't let the gallows in the front of the building fool you. And it was never held as a jail. So all of the things that they kind of portray it as, it just held gunpowder. That was all it did. It turned into different things after that, but that's all it was meant to do. So let's go find something out about Anne Bonny. I want you guys to come up with kind of your own questions. Some people ask if she was a lesbian and fell in love with Mary Read. Was she really pregnant? How old was she when she died? All of those kind of questions you want to ask, feel free. I'm going to listen in on mine. Let's get some good thermal imaging. I really want to pay attention to your EMF. So, yeah.
It's not G-rated anymore since there's 3 marriages from the same person. 1-1.
1-1, he says. I love it. I gotta go home and tell my wife that somebody finally put me in my place. Alright, let's get close to this building and see if we can capture.
So this still has a square, but the time went away.
I don't care about the time.
Okay.
As long as the square is there, because it'll alter, especially like if you moved it kind of a weird way, and it'll go to a horizontal instead of the landscape.
Yeah.
Then it'll do that, and the time will lock.
Okay.
So I realize it'll just keep recording. So
all right.
But you're doing a good job, man. You're not giving me any extra work to do.
Well, I need to be close to get the spirit box noise. I'll ask a question.
How old were you when you died?
You guys can go to the front of the building too. The easiest way is like if you want to run through those bushes, you can. But obviously there's an exit right there.
All right. All right. Ask a question.
You ask a question.
Hang on. How many children did you have?
Her name was Anne, right? Hello?
I'm thinking. I can't quite remember.
I think it was. Were you actually pregnant?
Can you tell me how many children you had? Where were you from?
Glasgow?
Kind of did,
I kind of heard it too. That might be stretching.
but that's Scotland.
Oh,
not
is it?
Ireland.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Glasgow is Scotland.
I don't know my geography. Where are you from, Anne? Why do you come to this building?
Smartphone.
Megan! And why do you come to the Powder magazine?
What's your attachment to this building?
Why do you stay here? Megan?
I don't know why you keep saying Megan.
That's Megan the Stallion. This place.
Never heard of him.
Alright, I heard questions being asked out here. What'd you guys get?
Nothing.
Not much.
Which is weird because I'm not getting anything either. So it was like eerily quiet.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Mhm.
Nothing. I'm hoping that her spirit box is going to pick up. Like, normally I'll get stuff about her kids and like save my son. You know, things get weird over here. So you can see the building's not very big.
No.
It's like a $5 tour to walk through it, and it shows you all the different wars that it's served. And I have a season pass because they have a really cool library in there.
Yeah.
Their little gift shop. They have books that I can't find anywhere else. Just 3 books. So I go in there. Oh yeah, I got the word drunk. So I learned an interesting fact of why pirates drink so much rum. They can't get clean water.
Oh, that would make sense.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
So I was like, oh, imagine that. It's not just a cliche or a trope. It says quickly. Drunk quickly. So the duel that I told you guys about, which is still relatively close, is the story of Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd.
Huh. Okay, yeah.
And I'm getting drunk on here as well, which is interesting. Sympathy.
I wasn't paying attention. You probably did.
Joseph shows up here. I know it's him. Yeah, there's like a, I don't know if you guys saw up like towards the gate. there's a walkway to get down into the museum, and that's how you get started in there.
I have found clickbait.
You found clickbait.
Main character, I need clickbait. I can't come up with things. No.
I'm trying to get over the bars.
1709. It's crazy to think houses 300 years old.
Alright guys, so from here, this is somebody's house, so we gotta kind of back away from that.
Alright.
So from here, this is where I answer questions and start collecting your devices. Hopefully I have some really cool pictures. I can't wait to see these, especially since she said she thought she saw somebody.
Or that might have been my shadow, but
You never know.
That would be cool.
I will still debunk it either way. Alright, so camera, we'll start there.